Hey, this is Chuck Garric from Beasto Blanco.
And I'm Calico Cooper, coincidentally also from Beasto Blanco. And this is We Go to 11.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder? These go to 11.
This is going to be for We Go to 11, so it has a little bit of a Spinal Tappy type influence to the name, but we do rock and roll interviews, and you guys fit the bill, so there we go.
Yeah.
So
we'll accept that. We'll accept that.
So, I've been a fan of you guys since you guys released the debut record, and you had a long-standing relationship with Rat Pack, right? And at this point, you have a new record coming out this Friday, the 26th of July. Kinetica is the album. Catch us up a little bit on, the new album and what happened with Rat Pack. Is it more of a financial thing? Because you guys had a long-standing relationship with them.
Yeah, I think diversity, it's like we really kind of, I know it sounds kind of trite, but we stretched our wings a little bit on this record and kind of pushed ourselves as far as we could go, like musically. So we just thought, if we're going to do a whole kind of like ground level experimental project, and it's going to be like the kind of like European meets American rock and roll, let's just do everything slate, brand new, start over. So the label Cop that we're on now really let us do that. And it was, I mean, I've enjoyed the experience. Chuck, you can speak to it, but it's been, I mean, for instance, they let me make a video for every song on this record. Yeah, exactly. Your face was my face. I was like,
yeah, right.
So creatively, it was just such a great fit. And they're based in Germany, and a lot of our fan base is American and German. And so we thought, I wonder what that would look like. And we're pretty happy.
Yeah. Change is good.
Change is good. Change can be scary, though, and I think that's what sometimes keeps people stuck. But yeah, there is something different happening with this record, because up until this point, I think the sound was the sound, because I mean, I think anybody who was familiar with you guys, kind of like with a Motorhead, kind of like with an AC/DC, kind of like with, who else am I thinking? Any of those bands that have kind of a Ramones, I mean, if you buy a Ramones record, you kind of know what you're going to get. It's a little different, but they kind of stick to the script. And I think this is different, right? And so was it scary at all? I mean, it sounds like Calico was like all in for the change. How about yourself, Chuck?
Yeah, no, I'm always up for a change. As being an artist, I want to challenge myself musically, and I don't think we ever thought we should just stick to one thing, musically. I wanted to, Beasto Blanco is capable of a lot of things, especially with our vocal, chemistry that we have. There's such a cool effect that's going on between the two of us. And, to be honest with you, it was Chris Harms came to the table and was talking to me about writing some songs and producing the next record. And I was really loving the stuff he was sending over to me. So it was not necessarily scary as much as it was exciting. I knew that it was going to be different. And I think what I was most excited about was just to see how the old fans were going to react and see how the new fans are going to react, and then dive into the old material. So it's been received really well from both sides of the fence.
Sure. When you guys have somebody new stepping in, like a lot of bands have the co-writers, and then the producer helps, give feedback and stuff on the tunes and things like that. I mean, how much control were you guys willing to give up? Because I mean, when you have somebody stepping in that's taking, a larger role than just producer and also songwriter, sometimes they perform on the record too. How much control were you guys willing to give, and were you guys up for that?
Yeah, I mean, we were willing to give up, as much as the idea was kind of flowing, like if somebody's coming in, I'll tell you this real quick. Here's how much control we were willing to give it.
Right.
When we were writing the record Kinetica and we were in the studio, in Hamburg, Germany, we're in the studio, we're tracking the record, and a next studio over is another engineer, and he comes over to say hi to us one day. And he says, "Hey, I've got a song that I think you guys would really love." We're like, "Bring it." So
Let's
he
do it.
brought it over, and the song turned out to be Skull Rider, and we tracked
Okay.
it within 2
Oh,
days
wow.
after that. So my point was that, man, we were open to really anything that was a good idea. You know, of course, if the song didn't fit, we weren't going to play it or even try it, but it did. And I think that just kind of goes with when you're going through something like we're talking about change earlier
Right.
in the interview, you have to be open to change. And you can't go for change and then be closed about all changes. So we had to be, if we're going for a change, we got to be open for all things change. So we were, and the people that came forward and the songs that came out of this were amazing.
Yeah, I kind of think like I was thinking about this earlier when it comes to like actors and stuff. You know, it's like we all loved Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump, right? But the next movie where he plays a bad guy or a different guy, you're not like, oh, I really liked him better in Forrest Gump. It's like
Right.
he's an actor, right? And I think Beasto is such a solid band, and the characters are pretty established that at this point I felt super comfortable being like, let's take these people to space. Let's take them to Europe. Let's take,
Yeah.
let's see what you could put the Beastos anywhere, sort of like, sort of like the Avengers, sort of like Guardians of the Galaxy. You can put them
Okay.
anywhere and they're funny and effective and cool. And I just saw like when people were reacting to the new record, we all had a favorite song, individually. Oh, I like this and I like this. That happens.
Right.
But I've never had it happen more than this record, where every interview we do or person, we look up to, that we talk to, that we sent the record to early, every single person has a different favorite song. And that
Right.
speaks to me volumes that it worked, right? That they're like, oh, I love, and I mean, we had to pick, a couple singles and we thought we knew. And then we gave some people the record and they go, oh, no, it's this, this, and this. And we went,
Right.
well, and then the next guy goes, no, it's this, this, and this. And we're like, oh my God.
Now, how did you guys select Run for Your Life? Because that's kind of a, again, you it's got the trademark kind of sound, but something different is going to come with that record, right? I mean, because you can
Yeah.
almost kind of like, it's like you left the door kind of cracked a little bit so people can go, wow, there's something different happening here. And
Yeah.
and I think it's going to be reflected throughout the record.
Sure. Yeah. I think with the song Run for Your Life was actually the first song that Chris Harms and I wrote together.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it just was one of those songs where I think it was the song that I was excited about when I heard it, when we started writing it, because I thought, oh, he's going after the Beasto theme, but he's going to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, okay, he wants me to sing different melodies, but it's still the same type of lyric content. Oh, okay. So it's a little different, maybe a different style of chorus, but we made it Beasto.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the record company really liked that song as the opener song because it had exactly what you said. It still sounded like Beasto, but it's a new song,
Right.
so
Right.
you're going to want new.
And I also look for, for me, I always look for, so when you play somebody something and that they nod, they tap their foot or nod their head to it,
Right.
that's all well and good. But when somebody's eyebrows shoot up to me,
Right.
that to me, and it's a weird thing of mine, but I always watch when people listen to like new stuff we're doing and you get this, right?
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
get the toe tapping. But every time Run for Your Life starts and Chuck goes, run for your, everybody goes like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And their eyebrows go up, and I went, that's the song. That's the single.
Yeah. Was there a particular song for either of you that was most challenging, to get, as we heard in the final product?
On this particular record, I don't really remember running into anything that was extremely challenging, but I will say that we did go through several different arrangement ideas and some production ideas on Lowlands. We had started that song before we had gotten into the studio with Harms, and I think we had always felt like, but when we got into the studio with Harms, and then he took it home for a night or two and put the production on it that we thought it needed and wrote the bridge for it. It really, we're like, oh, there it is.
There it is, yeah.
I think that was the song. I don't know if it was as much challenging as it was as that one's sort of, we let simmer for a little while,
Right.
you know, because most songs can kind of happen pretty quickly, but
Sure.
Lowlands sat on the back burner for a little bit, just kind of heating up until we knew it was right. Because I
Right.
knew it was going to be a special song, you know?
Nice. How much, with, I mean, you guys fairly still new band, but you put out enough material out there that now at this point, it's probably becoming a challenge to see what stuff your guys are going to feature, you know? I mean,
Do you know how dead on you are? We just left rehearsal. We're in, where are we? Trier, Germany.
We're in Trüsdorf.
Trees. I can't say it
Oh,
correctly.
wow.
We're
so
by
the-
Cologne.
yeah.
Cologne,
Okay.
Germany, yeah.
and we're doing rehearsals for Wacken and all these festivals and
Mhm.
shows that are coming up. And we're all standing in the room trying to pick a 45-minute set going,
Right.
no, it's this. No, right? And it's a great problem to have. We're all
Sure.
excited about different stuff.
Yeah. I mean, how about you, Chuck? I mean, how challenging is it for you? And are you open
Well-
to kind of hearing suggestions, through you throw songs in a
Good
hat
about
and pull
it.
them out there?
I'm absolutely open about it. I think we know what worked with some of the older songs that
Mhm.
we were doing, but we also wanted to try something new with the new songs as well. It's just finding the order.
Right.
I'm always, what I want is I want it to have a flow. I want the set to have a flow. I want the crowd to be entertained.
Mhm.
I try to eliminate as much dead space as I possibly can.
Sure.
So I'm thinking show more than, oh, I really like the guitar part on the song.
Sure.
Right.
For me, it's
Right.
about what works in the set, what
Yeah.
works in the show. And-
Absence of ego,
yeah,
too.
and-
Really.
and- yeah, and I think that it's important too because we do have 4 records now of
Mhm.
material, so we can't play everything. And there could be 1,000 different, orders. So we've got to
Right.
pick one, and when we do pick it, we're really thinking of what is the best step for the show with the songs we're selecting from, if you will.
Right. And take into consideration, they've got guitar changes and there's bits. We're a theatrical band. So obviously there's a million things going on. And I'm cognizant of, the instruments they have to have on and how fast it has to change. And they're cognizant of the fact that I can't do 6 in a row at the energy that I do
Right.
things. And so just building this little house of cards, it's pretty tricky.
Right. And I think back to the Live from Germany album. I mean, that in itself, or Berlin rather, Live from
Mhm.
Berlin record. I mean, that in itself, I'm like, you could just perform that and that'll do the trick. But
I haven't
adding
thought
new
about
stuff
it.
on there.
Yeah, well, we figured we already gave Germany that little seashell. So
Right.
but we have been referencing it a lot.
Right.
Listening back to a live record is crazy because I've already decided in my brain, like, where people are going to cheer, where people are going to
Mhm.
answer back, whatever. And it's always shocking to see where that actually happens.
Right.
It's like you make a comedy movie and you're like, why are you laughing at this part? This isn't a funny part.
Right.
But yeah, so listening back to Live at Berlin, hearing where people are singing back and what songs get the bigger cheers, and you go, I forgot about that. So it's a really useful tool to go, if nothing else, the German audiences are vibing on this.
Mhm.
Regardless of what, America, we'll worry about that when we get there. But here, Wacken and stuff, we really want to do right by, these people that have been so embracing of us. And so,
Yeah, I think we did
Yeah.
a really good job of tying Live from Berlin into the new songs with Kinetica too. So pretty
Right.
cool, man.
You know what would be weird, because I've seen you guys on the ship. I've seen
Oh.
Beasto Blanco on the ship every time you perform.
Yeah.
I've watched.
on
you guys.
Monsters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
was thinking, for me, it would be really weird to see you guys not on the ship, perform live. That is. So I haven't had that opportunity, but I hope to have it soon.
Yeah, we're actually doing, believe it or not, and I try to wrap your mind around this one. We're actually doing an acoustic set.
What?
5. Yeah.
Wow.
And we rehearsed it today. And I'm like, this is really good. Like, I don't mean to
Wow.
but we'll definitely record it and hopefully leak a little bit here and there. But I was really impressed today with the songs are there. Sometimes you forget about that because we're doing so much stuff. But like when you unplug everything and just sing it, I'm like, oh, the songs are there.
Everybody's like, oh, maybe we just go out acoustically now.
Yeah, it would save us a lot of money not dragging all that crap around. But
Wow. I mean, that's really wild because that's really thinking out of the box for a band like you guys, you know? I mean, it's just like, wow,
Sure.
that would be cool to hear. Now, as far as with you guys, I mean, we are in the summer touring season. I mean, you guys are hitting all the festivals, but what are some bands or tours that you guys are looking forward to seeing this summer?
Oh, man.
wow, there's so many. Well, I mean, we've been lucky enough. Like my mom had an injury, so this year I jumped on a month of Alice shows, and I got to see. Calico, not speaking for Chuck. I am my era, my rock and roll sort of awakening era was pop punk.
Oh, okay.
So for me, getting to play festivals with Sum 41
Right.
and Blink 182 and things like that,
Avril
like
Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne, like oh my god, my little tiny emo heart was like. So
Which is
that
so
was
bizarre.
cool.
I mean, they basically are like the new classic rock, right? I mean,
I
they're in the, and
know,
it's
I
so weird.
know.
Ugh.
It's crazy. But so being able to do that was like huge. And then, we're playing shows this year with like a lot of bands I'm excited about. Like, we are playing a tour with Lord of the Lost and we're playing with Dead Daisies and just people that like
Right.
consistently put out rad music and want to do it with us. And so I'm excited about that. Chuck is definitely like he's got a bit of a darker heart than I do. So he listens to darker music.
Right.
But
So
anytime you catch him listening to like stoner rock, I'm in the back listening
there
to
you
like,
go.
Blink 182's rock show. I'm like,
what about you, Chuck? Anything in particular you're looking forward to seeing this summer as far as a tour or bands or acts or anything?
Yeah, I wish there was a time that I actually had off to watch a band play. So the opportunities, I'm fortunate enough to be working a lot this year. And so the band that I'll be catching the most of will be Filter, Ministry, and Rob Zombie.
right, because we're touring with them.
Oh,
But
you can't go
damn,
wrong
we saw
there.
Tool.
Right.
Tool
Oh, yeah, Tool
was
was
great.
amazing.
We
Tool was
did
great.
a show with Tool, and that was so cool to be able to see them because we worked so much we can never actually go to shows. So seeing
Wow.
Tool was rad. Those guys are
Yeah, they were great.
next level.
Wow. Well, I'll throw in one last question because I know you guys are probably tuckered out from all the rehearsals and stuff. Spinal
Just
tap
sweaty.
moment. Spinal
Yeah.
tap moment for each of you, if you could share that as we wind things
Oh,
down. And again, the
dear
record
God.
Kinetica comes out this Friday, the 26th of July, and we'll
I
make
got
sure we
one.
let everybody know. So there you
Oh,
go.
So many.
we could do Spinal Tap 4, 5, 6, and 7 for you just because anytime you have a theatrical rock band,
Right.
just know things are gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
So we were filming the video Death Rattle, and it was the first time that they'd ever given me the CO2 blaster, the gun. And so the director, Todd Junker, had Chris and I standing in the back of a pickup truck, and there's two like these big flame things on both sides.
Which were totally home built and
But
400% illegal. man.
100%,
Like,
yeah. My eyebrows are still growing back.
Oh, no.
But we the plan was he goes, all right, so this is gonna look super cool. I'm in this big headdress and it's Chris's guitar solo. And he says, so just fire the gun and let the CO2 kind of go around the fire, we'll pick up the whatever. And I go, all right. But pretty quickly I learned if I blasted it straight at the bed of the truck,
Yeah.
the smoke would billow up and look super cool. So I thought I was like doing something, like reinventing the wheel. Chris didn't make a single sound, but I didn't realize I dumped the CO2 tank right out, I thought was on the floor. I was doing it on his pants, and I froze his pants
God.
so badly that they cracked up the side. The blue jean cracked. I froze Chris's pants off
Oh my God.
with my CO2 blaster dressed as a high priestess. So that's mine.
There you go. Well, Jeez. Wait, can you top that one?
Oh, I
Chuck?
got a really good one. There was a great one. It was involved a live show at us in a festival, and we were about to go on stage, and what happened was, and so our intro goes on, and they blast the stage with smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So we are standing there. We cannot see but an inch in front of us if we're lucky. So now we're sort of holding each other's hands like this, like walking
Okay.
through the cloud of smoke.
But
And that's how we showed up on the stage. It was sort
Oh,
of like in this cloud.
the
It was
stage,
hilarious.
the stage drops off,
Uh-huh.
10, 15 feet.
We were laughing.
And so
much.
all 5 of us are like this, dressed like Beasto.
Oh God, I can't
Oh, yeah?
see. I can't see.
And when the smoke cleared, we were like,
Hello.
hello.
Yo, you know, that
So
that
that's
really
so-
reminds me of the Spinal Tap pods almost. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's got that
And life imitates art, my friend.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought of one more question that I needed to ask because I recall a while back, Calico, you had that little Billy Club bat thing that I think got
Mhm.
swiped. Did you ever get that back?
No, so we were playing a show, and it was one of those shows where there was just so many.
The whole
Show was a nightmare. Yeah, and so, but there was people backstage, and I'm changing, going, who are these people? Like,
Mhm.
and I turned around. When I turned back, my bat was gone. But I think like the coolest part of that
Mhm.
was the bat went missing, and we had like another like 10, 15 dates on that tour.
Yeah, we were at Hellstorm.
Yeah, Hailstorm. Every single show, more than one person brought me a bat that they made for me
Oh wow.
to replace
To replace
Suzanne.
Yeah.
But it meant more to me
Sure.
that these people took their time not only to come to the show and get the VIP and do the whole thing. And that means so much to us, because it's like, A, we get to meet you, we get to talk to you, but like they made me a bat to replace it. And I mean, in our Beasto storage, I have about 30 bats
Oh wow.
that Beasto fans made me,
Right.
and everyone is I want to make a throne out of them because it's so
That would be
important to
cool.
me. I cannot believe that they did that.
Right.
And it could have just been like, oh, bummer. But that goes to show you like the average Beasto fan, like that's who you are in your heart, right? That's who you are. You can be tough, and you can be a biker, and you can be, misunderstood and kind of an outcast, but you're the kind of person that would do something like that. So I just think that speaks volumes to Beasto fans in general.
Hey, thank you guys. We'll get to the link and hopefully you share it. And hopefully I get
We
to
will,
see you
absolutely.
stateside at some point in the Pacific Northwest.
We're looking forward
Yeah.
to it, man.
All
We will
right.
release those dates soon. So can't wait to see you, buddy.
Thank you so much, you guys. Take care, huh?
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.